Okay, that was fucking bullshit. Sorry, folks. I just see it just stopped me again, and what the fuck, dude? I don't know. I don't understand this. Um, it did it. It's funny. It did it right when I put that Trump when I put that Trump image up. I I don't know. I really wish YouTube would just fucking tell us what would trigger shit like that. Because they don't say shit. If you go on YouTube and you try to find where the rules are in regards to, what you are and aren't allowed to stream, they don't actually say anything. It says stuff like, okay, you can't have copyrighted stuff, you know, but you can if you're like using it in fair use or whatever, right? And then so they don't know what that means. So it's like, you should be able to have stuff like I just had. I just had an image, the message it gives you and says, oh, you had copyrighted video or you had a community guidelines violation, and it doesn't tell you what those are. It doesn't tell you what the violation is. It's ridiculous. YouTube really has a fucking problem. And the thing is, there's nobody to talk to. If you want to go talk to somebody, if you want to like try to figure out what happened, they don't tell you. They don't tell you. It's impossible. It's just you're at the mercy of their fucking ridiculous AI, bots and shit that continuously fucking flag you for the wrong things. It's bullshit. I'm gonna have to take this ending and splice it on to the end of the other stream, and luckily I didn't have a lot of comments or anything in here. So, because you end up losing all your live stream comments and shit like that. So, it's fucking bullshit. I don't know. YouTube really has a serious problem. And I noticed, yeah, but I noticed it came up. It probably saw that Trump ad that I put, because I put up an ad for, the Trump campaign asking for actors, right, to come to their, rally. And then that's probably what triggered it, which is a load of fucking horseshit. But what are you going to do, right? Anyway, so my whole point was to say that this, was something that they've already done before in the past, right? Because they hired actors at his very first campaign event way back in 2016 when Donald Trump was going down the escalator in Trump Tower to announce his candidacy. Those people were hired actors who were paid $50 for that day or some shit like that, right? So it's not beyond them to, do the same thing again, right? So that's what kind of makes me think that, yeah, maybe it could be real. But who knows? Who knows if it's real or not? I just think the shit's funny, and, you know, it kind of gives me a little bit of hope because although Donald Trump really has officially very high approval ratings among Republicans. Apparently, it wasn't high enough for Republicans to go see him, to go travel to his event and put themselves in danger, you know, because of the, big C, right? I don't want to say that either because it seems like last time in my stream with Raph talking about, you know, the coconut virus triggered the freaking AI gods as well and got my stream cut then. So I'm thinking that might be it as well. It's like, I don't know. See, I wish they would tell us. I wish they would tell us what I am and not allowed to say. It's bullshit. Anyway, maybe I'm just swearing too much. That could be it too. I don't know. It would be really nice if we had an answer, YouTube. You goddamn morons. Anyway, but it's good to see like wearing a mask and all that, has become it's become politicized and a lot of Republicans won't do it. And it's kind of good to see that, there wasn't this gigantic response that, maybe there are a lot of even his base are not, they're not going that far. They're, maybe they're like not as supportive of him anymore, right? Or maybe they don't support him enough to fly out to his rally and expose themselves to danger of getting sick, and maybe that's just like, maybe they're starting to come to their senses about that. I don't know. I'm really hoping that this is, I'm really hoping that that's saying something, right? Because, yeah, I don't know. And, I mean, right now, it's looking like he's going to get God stomped in the election anyway, right? But we can't take that for granted, because I remember us saying back in 2016 that he was going to get stomped then as well. In fact, I remember remarking to my friend Raph that if he lost, because Hillary Clinton was something like 15 points ahead a month out before the election, right? She was like really far ahead. And I remember saying to my friend Raph, if he wins, then that's evidence of tampering with the election. You know what I mean? Like, I remember him saying like, wow, he's going to get stomped, it's going to be a landslide. And if he somehow won, the only way he can win at this point is to cheat. I remember that, lo and behold, there's a lot of funky things going on in that election, right? So, I think really one day it is going to come out in 2016 that shit was going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about. One day somebody's going to spill the beans on that, but that's just me. I don't have any proof, so I don't want to say one way or the other, right? But I guess the lesson is don't get overconfident. It's important to go vote, right? And that's really kind of to tie this back in to what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream. That's really what disheartens me the most about people in the movement right now. People out there protesting, and stuff like that, who want to see change happen in our country. And, that's great. But then you see a lot of these guys, they don't participate in the political process. All those people who organized CHOP, who went out there and stayed in this area and tried to help people for 2, 3, 4 weeks, however long it's been. All these people that went out and dedicated their time and their resources to trying to create a space where people could be safe and, live free and not have to worry about being shot for dumb reasons, shit like that. And, to help homeless people and all of that stuff. If you're not going to turn that into a political, if you're not going to turn that energy towards political ends, then it kind of gets wasted, right? Because, and yeah, and I understand the reason why. The reason why is because a lot of these people, like I said, it doesn't fit with their philosophy. They think that participating in these types of systems just perpetuates oppression, essentially. And yeah, I get that, right? I understand it. But I think that's bullshit. That's what I think, And maybe I'll do a live stream all about why I think it's bullshit. But I ultimately think that, you're not going to get what you want unless you go through the process, right? You're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to force people to give you what you want, at gunpoint. That's not going to happen. That's not possible. And most of the people that are in this movement wouldn't do that anyway, because they believe in peaceful protest and shit. Most of them, right? So that's not an option. You're not going to convince them by, living by example. They don't care. Nobody gives a shit what you do. If you want to go out and start your own little autonomous collective and not use money and not charge people rent and whatever, go do it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Go do it someplace, right? Me personally, I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to go out, find some land somewhere, start your own commune, your own town, your own civilization, right? And try to live the way you want to live. That's what America is all about. That's the American way. What you're describing is what America is. Freedom, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Go pursue happiness. Go do it, right? You're not going to convince people just by, even if you went and did that and were successful and showed people this is how you can live without all of these problems that we have in the modern world attached to capitalism and money and all that shit. you're still not going to convince people. People are still going to live how they are because they like it. They like, for whatever reason, they like capitalism, they like their jobs, they like where they live, whatever. You're not going to convince them that way. So how else do you do it? How else do you get the things you want? You know, you want things like Medicare for all, for example. You know, you want to end war, right? You want to end homelessness. You want to stop police brutality. You want to, you know, some kind of UBI, you know, universal basic income, to make sure people's, you know, needs are provided for in some way, right? You know, in the coming like automation fucking crisis that's going to happen in the next 30 years, when every fucking job in the world is going to be automated, because it will be. That's coming. If you don't know, it's only a matter of time before pretty much every low skilled job there is being done by a robot. You know, 30 years. Not that far away. They already have the self-driving cars. So before long, you won't even be able to drive a fucking Uber anymore for people, right? That's going away. Just watch. We're going to need some kind of UBI, you know. That's just a side note. So, you know, if you want these things for people, right, then you have to be politically active. You have to vote, you know. It's not just being an activist and going out and protesting and waving a sign around and, you know, etc., right? And it's not just that. It's not just disrupting the system, you know, or whatever, right? It's also being politically active, getting your leaders in there, getting people that will fight for you to, you know, in positions of power where they can actually do something, you know. And that's why Republicans and conservatives are so successful right now, because they know how to use the process, right? They know how to use the system, and they're so utterly successful at it now they're starting to bend the system to their will, you know. They're starting to rig the system in their favor. Donald Trump is appointing federal judges left and right, you know, at an alarming rate. One of his judges just dismissed the Michael Flynn case. You know, Michael Flynn, you know, basically Trump's advisor that got busted talking to Russians. The whole thing, this was the whole thing that set off the fucking Russia investigation, you know, or one too many of Donald Trump's transition team just kept meeting with foreign nationals and then lying to the FBI about it. You know, he just got off now. His case is dismissed by a Trump-appointed judge, right? They're using it, and you know, this is what's happening, right? You know, they're using it to their advantage, right? How do you stop shit like that? You're not going to stop it unless you get your people in there to fucking stop it, right? No one's now Michael Flynn's free to go. You know, the guy basically pleaded guilty to his crime, lying to the FBI. If you or I lied to the FBI, we'd be in prison right now. This guy lies to the FBI, and since he's the president's friend, he gets to go free. Okay? There's something wrong with that picture. It shouldn't be like that. It doesn't matter who you are, what, you know, what you're connected to politically. You know, the law has to apply to everybody the same way, and right now it's not. You know, that's basically the definition of fascism right now. You're not going to stop shit like that by protesting, you know, by holding a sign somewhere. You're not going to stop it by smashing a window or lighting a fucking cop car on fire. That's not going to stop that either, right? You know, there's people on the left who really do support violence, right? In fact, I've got here now, the stream better not fucking cut me for this shit. Okay? But basically, here's you know, here's another photo I've got now. Fuck you, YouTube. This is not copyrighted shit, so I better not get my fucking stream stopped for this. Right? Basically, these are guys talking on Reddit, and you know, talking about violent uprisings. So I want to read what this guy says, right? This dude right here talking about how violent uprising works. Let me make this a little bigger, right? So, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Who's blaming black people? The public or racist conservatives and pro-clutching liberals? Remember, these people hate liberals as much as conservatives, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Ignore the media. They're never going to paint an uprising in a positive light. They slandered MLK. They slandered Malcolm. Blah, blah, blah. You're a leftist. Please understand this. Violent uprising works. Property damage works. Agitation works. Disrupting the Capitol is the only way to get them to listen to you. This is obviously doesn't mean wanton destruction, but targeted mayhem is effective. Right. That's bullshit. That's the problem. You know, this attitude, I got another one here. You know, I think it's by the same guy, right? So, me just, and this kind of stood out to me because I'm seeing this sentiment a lot on the left. Okay. Okay, you know, just look at what this is just some random commenter in a subreddit out there, right? But this opinion is indicative of what a lot of people think. Okay, so anyway, I'm saying, has the mass media and liberal narrative become so pervasive that they've propagandized folks into thinking they need to care more about respectability and getting a shit deal that's way less than what they deserve? And just like the post says, they're not showing this shit in the news anyways. They're not going to ever. If they kept up the rioting and uprising, the state would cave. It cannot maintain this pace of defense much longer. They're already breaking. We could get full-on police force abolitions like in the Minneapolis City Council is considering, disarmament exonerations, hell, even reparations possibly. You know. But instead, they're already pivoting to compromise. We'll get a few arrests and a dumb little program that reduces force with no meaningful change, and then we'll go back to the way things were. Then organizers will start getting murdered under mysterious circumstances again, like after Ferguson, blah, blah, blah. Look at what this guy's saying. Basically saying he's advocating for violence. The state would cave. No, it won't. No, it won't. Okay. They're already breaking. We could get full-on police abolitions like Minneapolis, considering disarmament, exonerations, even reparations. No, you won't. You'll never get that. That's a fantasy. It's not going to happen. You know, right now, even in Minneapolis, when they're talking about, you know, disbanding the police, they're not really disbanding the police. Okay, that's not what they're doing. Okay, they're reforming it and making it more, you know, putting in some of these reforms so that, say, for example, first responders aren't always cops who are armed, and maybe social workers, for example, like if there's a domestic dispute, that kind of thing, right? But it's not going to end, you know, there's not going to be like no police in Minneapolis or whatever. Like, no, that's bullshit. That guy's living in a fantasy world. Whoever that person is, he has no idea about how the world really works, and he hasn't really thought about how to really implement the things that he really wants, or how he's going to achieve the thing he wants. The only way that any of that shit that guy wants is ever going to come true as if there's the political will for it to happen. And that involves being out there, being an activist, being ready, you know, and voting and getting other people to vote for you and running people, running candidates that will give you the things you want. That's what that involves, right? And if you're not going to use the political process, kiss it goodbye. You can protest till you're blue in the face. You could riot till you're blue in the face. It'll never happen. The more you riot, the harder they're going to come down on you. And the more resistance you're going to get from the general public. That's how it works. Because people don't like rioters and looters. They don't. They're afraid of them. All right? That's why. Well, you know, what are you just going to use fear to like just force people to? No. This is bullshit. They're not going to do it. So that's what's really sad about this whole thing. It's really sad about it. And this is why the left is so weak in this country, you know. And I don't know. It's really kind of messed up because I really do think, me personally, that the only people that are capable of saving the United States, right, are, you know, the only way that the United States is going to survive is if we implement some of these reforms, you know. If we make it more free for everybody so that we're able to give everyone some buy-in in civil society, basically. That's why these people are pissed. They're pissed because essentially they're being, kept out of what you would call the American dream. You know what I mean? They don't have access to it. Whether it's from an economic standpoint, generations of just shitty jobs and poverty, being enforced on them because of institutional racism, for example, right? Whether it's through, debt, excessive policing, you know, uh, the police department themselves extracting wealth from the community. That's another thing you hear about, cops giving tickets for stupid fucking things, and then the tickets pile up and people can't pay them and they end up going to prison, shit like that. You know, redlining, whatever reason it is, voter disenfranchisement, that kind of thing. For one reason or another, these people feel like they're being, denied, right? They're being denied what the rest of us in the country take for granted. And until we, reconcile that, this is what's going to keep happening. And it's like, they're not going to give it to you. You have to take it. You can't take it through force. The only way you can take it is at the ballot box. I mean, seriously, unless you're going to have a violent uprising revolution and, unless that's going to happen, I personally think that's a fucking dream also, and there's no fucking way that's ever going to work. Right? There's no way. There's no way. You won't be able to defeat the United States Army, and half the populace isn't going to go for that shit either. So, good luck, And personally, I wouldn't support you either. If there was an armed leftist uprising, in the country, fuck that. I'm not going to support that shit. Get out of here. Right? No, man, I don't, I don't know. Anyway, I think we've gone on pretty much far enough. I think we should end this before YouTube stops us again for some fucking dumbass reason. I'm going to take this stream and I'm going to splice it onto the end of the other stream and then upload that as one big long ass thing. So, and it'll be called Chuds versus Chop. Chop, right. That's what it'll be called. Because this is fucking bullshit. And I think maybe we need to make a whole video about how YouTube sucks and how they just end shit for no reason. Right. Seriously, man. I mean, I didn't play any video during this whole thing. I didn't play any audio. What the fuck, did somebody report me for? No, it was a bot. It was a bot that saw that Trump thing and thought it was copyrighted. And that's a load of fucking shit. Right there. So anyway, but we're going to end this. Let me just go ahead and pull up my stuff here so I can do my ending spiel, whatever. Let's see. I got that. I got my, what was my other thing? Webcomic. Oh, man. It's late. I don't know. Wait, what? What? Oh, okay. Ha ha ha. That's funny. I thought I went to the, I thought something happened in my webcomic, but I spelled it wrong, so. There we go. That's my webcomic right there. And then, okay, so here's my ending spiel. I have a webcomic. You guys, if you like what I do, you want to see more of what I do, this is hawanja.com. Here's my webcomic. My main comic is all about ninjas and shit like that. It's more of a comedy kind of thing. And I'm slowly redoing it, so these have all been recolored. And I'm going to start putting these up probably once a week or every 2 weeks or so. And then I have another webcomic here at Dirty Kitchen Comics. And this one I upload at least once a week. This one I just put up like last Monday, so this is my webcomic here. It's supposed to be funny. It's probably not that funny, but who cares? Right. Here's another one. Then I have if you like what I do, I have a Patreon. So if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, here's one way you can do it. You can give me $1 a month and I will give you a shout out. Or you can give me $10 and I will make a video on the subject of your choice, or give you a black and white art piece, you know. Or I can give you $20 and I will give you something of your choice from my Etsy store and everything from the previous tiers, right? And what is my Etsy store? Well, this is my store here on Etsy, and I sell prints and stuff like that. So this is what one of those prints looks like. They're big 11 by 17 kind of deals like that. Let me take this out of here so you can kind of see it. This is one that's like Cthulhu, you know. Each one of these is unique. There's I use coffee and stuff to stain them, and you know, so around the edges, stuff like that, so you can kind of see what they look like. And so each one comes out a little bit different. They're all unique, and I've got, most of these are like Lovecraft characters, you know, but some of them are things that I made up. Like this one's a Lovecraft character. This guy's really popular, right? And so that's one way of supporting what I do. If you don't want to do a recurring thing on Patreon, you can just buy one of these guys. And I will put a link to that down in the thing. Then if you like my work here, Instagram, you know, you can see me on Instagram here. It's Dirty Kitchen Press on Instagram. And I usually put comics and artwork up here and stuff too, if you like what I do. I put a lot of sketches on my Instagram that don't go anywhere else. And then I have a DeviantArt site here that I post, you know, all of my work on DeviantArt. So this is mainly like full color pieces. Here's one that I just did. Here's some She-Ra fan art where I made them all monsters. So, you know, that's usually what's on my DeviantArt is fully rendered, full color stuff, you know, more stuff that took a little more effort. You know, on my Instagram, it'll be more sketches and that kind of thing, right? So, there's all that, and yeah, if you like what I do, and you know, please consider checking me out on all my social media here. And thank you so much for sticking with me through all of this. I know I had at least one, you know, viewer this whole time who wasn't just me that was actually watching this. So whoever you are, thank you so much. And I will see you all next week. Adios.